I booked the Airbnb because it was cheap. Too cheap. The listing said it was a quiet countryside retreat. Perfect for writing, perfect for getting away from the city noise, or so I thought. The host's profile picture was a blurry shot of a smiling man, middle-aged, wearing a faded plaid shirt, no reviews. But I didn't care. It was last minute, and I was desperate. When I arrived, the driveway was a long stretch of gravel, trees on both sides, no other houses in sight. At the end, a 2-story wooden house, paint peeling, shutters hanging loose, the kind of place you'd see in an old photograph or a horror movie. The host was waiting on the porch. He waved as I parked. His smile seemed stiff, like it didn't reach his eyes. "Long drive?" he asked. I nodded. He didn't offer to help with my bags. Inside, it smelled like dust and faint mildew. The floor creaked under my feet. The living room had mismatched furniture, a clock that ticked far too loud. And in the hallway, a door. It was locked, with a large, old-fashioned padlock. I pointed at it. "What's in there?" The host's smile froze. "Storage," he said quickly. "Just storage. Nothing you need to worry about." Then he changed the subject. That night, I was in my room, typing, trying to focus. But I kept hearing something, a faint noise, like shuffling, coming from the locked door downstairs. I told myself it was the house settling, an old place, wood moves, things creak. But around midnight, I heard it again, a slow, deliberate scratching, like fingernails against wood. I froze. The sound went on, and then stopped. I waited. Nothing. Finally, I fell asleep. In the morning, I went downstairs. The locked door was slightly open. The padlock hanging loose. I swallowed hard. I thought about looking inside, but before I could move, the host appeared. He shut the door, clicked the lock shut. "Breakfast?" he asked, smiling too wide. I barely ate. The whole time I felt his eyes on me, watching, measuring, like he was waiting for something. That night, the noises got louder, shuffling, scratching, and whispering. I pressed my ear to my bedroom door. It was coming from the hallway, from the locked room. I grabbed my phone, opened the Airbnb app, but there was no signal, no Wi-Fi, no way to call for help. At 2 a.m., the whispers turned into knocking. Soft at first, then louder, then pounding. I sat frozen on my bed. Every hair on my body stood on end. Suddenly, silence. I waited. Minutes passed. And then, a voice, a woman's voice, right outside my door. "Please, help me." I wanted to open the door. I wanted to help, but something told me, do not open that door. The voice turned into a sob. Then, laughter. Low. Wrong. Like it wasn't human. I stayed awake until the first light of dawn, when I finally crept out. The locked door was wide open. The room inside, empty. No furniture, no windows, just claw marks on the walls. The host was gone. His car, gone. The front door, wide open. I grabbed my bags and ran to my car. The gravel crunched under my tires as I sped away. I never got my deposit back. The listing vanished from the site the next day. And sometimes, in the quiet of the night, I still hear that voice. "Please, help me." I booked the place because it looked perfect, clean, bright, stylish. The photos showed white walls, large windows, sunlight flooding the rooms. The host had over 50 reviews, all 5 stars. Everyone said the same thing. Charming host, wonderful stay, would book again. I should have felt safe, but I didn't. From the moment I arrived, something felt Off. The host, Claire, was overly friendly, smiling too much, leaning too close, touching my arm when she talked. She gave me a tour of the house, kitchen, living room, bedroom upstairs. Then she stopped at a locked door near the kitchen. "This leads to the basement," she said. Her voice changed when she said it, lower, tighter. "You won't need to go down there." I nodded, but I couldn't help noticing. She carried a small silver key on a chain around her neck, and she kept touching it, like it was important. The first night was quiet, mostly. Around 1 a.m. I heard something, a faint thump, from below, from the basement. I told myself it was the washing machine, even though I hadn't used it. The second night, it was louder, rhythmic, like someone was pacing. I put my ear to the kitchen floor. Yes. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. I froze. The house was supposed to be mine alone. Claire had left after giving me the keys. The next morning I asked her about it. She laughed, said it was just the pipes, but her eyes didn't match her smile. That night, it was worse. Around midnight, the footsteps started again. Then, a dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. I stared at the locked basement door. Every part of me said, "Stay away." But at 3 a.m., I heard a whisper. It came through the floorboards, a man's voice. "Please, help me." My heart pounded. I wanted to call the police, but my phone was dead. I'd forgotten to charge it. The whisper came again, more desperate, closer. "Help me, she's coming." I backed away from the door. My hands were shaking. I went upstairs, locked my bedroom door. The footsteps followed me, from below, keeping pace with me as I moved. At dawn, I grabbed my bags and left. Claire wasn't there. The house was empty. A week later, I went back to the listing. It was gone, but the picture stayed in my mind, the picture of her hand, resting on that little silver key around her neck. The apartment looked perfect, modern, bright, minimalist design. The photos showed a clean living room, a soft gray couch, a balcony with a city view. The host, Daniel, had great reviews, polite, helpful, professional. When I arrived, everything matched the photos. Exactly. It felt almost staged. Daniel greeted me with a handshake. Cold skin, too firm. His eyes didn't blink enough. "I live upstairs," he said. "Let me know if you need anything." The first night, I sat on the couch scrolling my phone. I kept feeling like I was being watched. It made no sense. The blinds were closed, the doors locked. I shrugged it off, tried to relax. Around midnight, I heard a faint clicking sound, mechanical, from above. I thought maybe it was pipes, or an appliance. The second night, it was louder, more frequent, like something moving in short bursts. I started looking around, checking the corners of the ceiling, the edges of the furniture. That's when I noticed it, a small black dot, in the wall above the TV, almost invisible, unless you knew where to look. I climbed onto a chair. It was a tiny lens. I felt sick. I started searching the apartment, in the smoke detector, inside the lamp, even behind the bathroom mirror. Everywhere I looked, there was another lens. I grabbed my phone to call the police. No signal. The Wi-Fi, gone. Then I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming down the stairs from above. I froze. The sound stopped just outside my door. A knock, gentle, rhythmic. "Everything okay in there?" Daniel's voice, too calm. I didn't answer. I pressed my back against the far wall. The knock came again, louder, then the sound of the lock turning. I ran to the balcony, 3 floors up, but I didn't care. I climbed over the railing and dropped to the ground. Pain shot through my ankle as I landed. I limped down the street until I found an all-night diner. The police came. They searched the apartment. They found 12 cameras, some hidden in places I didn't even check. But Daniel was gone. The upstairs unit was empty, and when they checked the building's security footage, the cameras had been turned toward the walls, as if someone didn't want to be seen.